If you're like me, you've been seeing a particular ad on Instagram lately for an indestructible shoe with a steel toe and puncture resistance and the whole 9 yards. But curiously, the ads are always for different companies, even though it's clearly the same shoe. For instance, here's a Project Fersen with a so-called Immortal shoe for $65. Then there's an oak-based store with an all-in-one safety shoe for $80. Looks awfully familiar. Indestructible Shoes sells their version as the so-called Ryder shoe, also for $80. But it's clearly the same shoe as the others. I had the thought that maybe Indestructible Shoes was the real brand, but a quick look at the lettering on the stripe on the back of the shoe disabused me of that notion. It's in German, so please forgive my completely inept German pronunciation, but it says, Die Weltmarken mitten the 3 stripes. If that sounds familiar at all, it's because it's ADIDAS' trademark description. Die Weltmarken mitten des 3 Streifen. Or something like that. It basically translates to the trademark with the 3 stripes. But no, these are most certainly not ADIDAS shoes. That strongly implied to me that these are just random Chinese shoes, and a very quick search on AliExpress showed me that I was exactly right. It's 100% the same shoe with the same video, the same image, and the same ad copy. Only, it's $24 with free shipping. A far cry from $65 to $85. At that price, I had to give them a try. They arrived just over 2 weeks later. I only remembered later to check Amazon. Sure enough, if you search for Ryder Indestructible Shoe, you get the same ones. They're about $35 without Prime and $45 with. So are they worth $24? It's worth noting that they stink to high heaven when you first take them out of the package. Lots of nasty plastic off-gassing. I aired them outside for a couple days before using them. Most of the shoe is a woven mesh material. It's a synthetic fabric of some sort, very plasticky feeling. The back support that looks like leather does appear to be some kind of leather substitute. The side bits that also vaguely look like leather are pure flexible plastic. The bottom of the shoe is orange and translucent and feels somewhat like rubber. It's very thick. The insole is glued in place. You can't see the steel toe at all, inside or out. These aren't heavy shoes when compared to steel toe boots, but they definitely weigh notably more than non-safety shoes. Thus, they were surprisingly heavy to me. They are also relatively uncomfortable. The width of the shoes is much more narrow than normal American shoes. I got a size 44 to match an American size 10, but the width felt more like maybe a size 9, so my foot got quite pinched. It's possible that a size 45 might work better. They also have far less padding than it looks like. I was able to wear them for many hours in the workshop and I did get used to them, but they are not at all as comfortable as a typical pair of tennis shoes. So let's start investigating their claims. Are they flexible? Yes, very. Check 1. Now on to puncture resistance. I quickly worked up a test board with a cluster of 5 10D common bright nails on one end and a single nail on the other. I then slowly put all of my weight on the 5 nails. That's over 200 pounds in one spot. The nails did penetrate the sole a tiny bit, but not enough to feel or to see a visible hole later. But bed of nails kind of work as a trick because of the distributed force. How well could this work on one nail? Oops. Good thing I was holding myself up and just slowly applying force, because a single nail went through the sole almost like it wasn't there. It left a visible hole too. I redid the single nail test the next day since the previous test didn't actually go all the way through. And indeed, as hard as I could push the shoe into the nail, it simply wouldn't go through the topmost layer. It looked like most of the sole is a hollow mesh, but then there's a Kevlar insole just below the surface. That stopped the nail cold. I still don't trust it enough to put my full weight on it, but it's clearly extremely puncture resistant, if not fully puncture proof. I'm impressed. Next up is the steel toe. Let's start with a 16-ounce hammer. No problem. Let's amp this up to a 10-pound sledge. What can I say? The steel toe appears to be the real deal. My foot felt fully protected the entire time. I'm sure it is possible to crush it, but this test showed it can withstand any normal forces that I'm likely to encounter. I'm pretty impressed. I'll say that, in general, these do feel like grippy shoes. Going up normal OSB feels fully secure, so like if I was on a roof, no problem. What happens if I introduce some water to the mix though? Well, I can feel a little loss of adhesion, but a still very secure feeling overall. Would adding a little oil to the water make a difference? Okay, I'm definitely feeling it slip a little bit now. It's still much more grippy than my normal shoes, but no, I'm not feeling 100% secure at this point. Still, I'm going to give them this one. It's a very grippy shoe. Alright, final verdict time. If you get this for $25 and if you get it one size above your normal size, then this is a steal. It basically did everything that it was advertised to do. This is a legit steel toe. It's nice and grippy. The sole of it is puncture resistant. I redid the test where it tried to go all the way through and discovered that, yeah, actually the Kevlar layer is right near the top there, and it worked really, really well. That stopped that, even the single nail, from going all the way through. The key is, though, is that most of these that you see advertised that are not on AliExpress want $65 to $80. And at that point, no, that's kind of a hard sell, because as good as this shoe is, it's still very, very cheap. I don't actually expect this to last very long. The $35 ones on Amazon get a little bit closer to being, I mean, if you don't trust AliExpress, although honestly, Alibaba is one of the biggest corporations in the world, so it's as safe as anything else is. But if you want to get it from Amazon instead at $35, maybe, yeah. But I would still just use the AliExpress link, spend $25 and get a pretty remarkable shoe for the price.